Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wadcast Podcast. I'm no Kenny Kane, but I'm Eddie Ift. Kenny Kane used to do a really good introduction of this show. I try to do a good one. I do that Welcome to Wadcast Podcast. I need something that's a little more catchy. I am your host. Each and every week, I bring you the most exciting, entertaining show devoted to health, fitness, strength, conditioning, well-being, CrossFit. We talk about it all. We've evolved as a show. I love to talk. I could talk paint off a wall, and I like to do comedy, and I like to work out, and I've combined all three of the things into this show. Hopefully you find it entertaining. I think I bring you the best guests of any show because I travel all over the world. I get these people, I put them on the show, and then I'm not boring like all those other gym rats that's all they can do. They like to pump up and, get big and swole and strong and then talk about hypertrophy and being anabolic and I don't know. Anyway, I'm in Las Vegas right now. You can tell I'm a little bit giddy because I've been doing shows staying in a casino where they pump you full of oxygen. They say, I don't think that's true. But I've been doing lots of shows here. I'm at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Yeah, that's right. I'm the headliner. Everybody, Brad's not here. People come for Brad and then they get me. So I am, the shows are great. Almost sold out all of them and having a lot of fun. If you want tickets, come down and see me, eddyift.com, eddyift.com. I've got shows all over the place. This week, I'm at Brad Garrett's. Next week, I am in Worcester, Massachusetts. It's right outside of Boston, like an hour outside. Got some good shows. I think I'm going to go interview some guys at Reebok and maybe Ben Bergeron, and maybe he's a tough one to nail down. He's a very, very busy man. So that's next week. I'll be in Worcester. And then I go from Worcester to New York City, where I'm doing shows at the Comedy Cellar in New York City. Then I'm in Boston. I'm in Boston at Laugh Boston, downtown in the Seaport. Give me a message and come out and see that one. That one always sells out. So I'd love to see some Wadcast fans there. Let me know, and maybe I can take care of you. So send me a message at wadcastpodcast@yahoo.com. That's what you do to get a hold of me anywhere, anytime. All kinds of dates coming up. I'm just going to list the places. You can look at the dates on eddyift.com. If you hear your city, go check it out on eddyift.com. I'm in Vancouver. I'm in Australia. I'm in Saudi Arabia. I'm in, that's no joke. I'm in, Grand Rapids. I'm in, what's the other city there? Ann Arbor. I'm in, I go all over the place. So just check out those dates. All right. Let's get to what's more important. If you like the show and you want to help out the show, we love how you help out the show. You go to Patreon. That is how you do it. You go to Patreon, and on Patreon, you can help out by giving $5. $5 a month is all you got to do. And that $5 pays for almost $1 an episode. And we just keep doing these shows because the Patreon helps us pay all our bills. I got lots of bills. Ernie is still engineering, taking care of producing the show, does a great job, makes it sound good. And if you give $5, what do you get? Very good chance you're going to win a Myopux, which is the best electronic muscle stimulator there is. It's a TENS machine and an electronic muscle stimulator. It's so compact, so portable. I take it everywhere with me. Kelly Starrett just talking to him, yesterday, on the phone. The guy's the greatest guy in the entire world. I got him on speed dial for all my injuries. But I said, Kelly, I have chondromalacia. And he said, no, you don't. You have chondromalacia. And I said, okay, well, I know what it is. I just pronounced it wrong. And he said, yeah, well, you got to get, throw that Myopux on there and start pumping that. Ow! I just kicked the table with my toe. Now I'm going to need the Myopux on my toe. I'm going to need to hook the Myopux up so that I can flush all of the waste out of my toe now. That's what happens. It pumps blood. It gets all the bad blood out. It expedites the inflammatory process, makes your injuries last, you get through it in faster time, and you can flush out all that bad blood, all that bad waste. You get the waste out of there. So a good thing to do is go over it with the leopard claw. We give you one of those too, which is even awesome. It's a scraper, a schwagwa or whatever they call it. And you use that to scrape out all the adhesions or anything. Get that gooky area that's where there's any kind of injury, and you scrape it, and then you can use the electronic muscle stimulator if you got back pain, anything. They've got all kinds of different pads in the MyoPucks. So check it out. Give $5 at Patreon, $5 a month, and you'll get yourself one. And that's like a $450 value. So a little bit of money to get something awesome. Brett Kamen, you just won. How's that feel, Brett Kamen? I hope I said your name right. It could be Kamen, but I think it's Kamen. Brett Kamen, you just became a winner of a MyoPucks and a leopard claw. So how about that, Brett? How do you feel right now? Do you feel great? Just send us a message. We'll get that out to you right away. I mean, we're going to get it out to you no matter what, but here's the deal. That's it. How else can you help out? Even if you don't want to give us any money, do us a favor. Please go to iTunes. Please go to iTunes and leave a review. It really, really helps us in the ratings. Then more people find out about the show. A lot of things. Advertisers want to advertise with us. That helps the show. So just give a nice little rating and a 5-star review. You would be amazed at how much it helps. And let me know how you honestly feel about the show. Some people just get a little mean, but some people, 98% of the people are really nice. So we appreciate it. And we couldn't do the show without any of our sponsors. Today's episode is brought to you by Fitiv Pulse. You're going, what's Fitiv Pulse? Well, it's the new, it's taken over my life. I love it so much. It's an all-in-one health and fitness app for the iOS and Android. iOS, that's Apple. So if you're looking to either track your progress or level up your performance, Fitiv Pulse has the tools you need to succeed. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to connect your Apple Watch, your Bluetooth heart rate monitor, or your smartwatch. Not all of them, just either your Apple Watch, your Bluetooth heart rate monitor, or your smartwatch to record your workouts. And then you're going to visualize your real-time heart rate data. So you are going to be able to check out while you're working out, see what's going on. I do this constantly. I monitor my heart rate. I should be monitoring it right now. Actually, I'm going to look down. What is it? You got anybody want to know? Anybody want to know? 3 minutes ago, it was 70 beats per minute. But here's what you're going to do. If you have fitness apps like I do, I use Map My Run. And the other day I went for a hike. I hit Map My Run, and all of a sudden everything showed up in Fitiv Pulse. It's committed to seamless integration with apps like Apple Health, MyFitnessPal, Strava, Training Peaks. So you're never going to have to compromise on your data. CrossFitters are loving this because it's actually got some it's built for CrossFitters. It's got a thing in there that you just say that you're actually doing a CrossFit workout. And, it's got visual workout summaries and a supportive in-app community and standalone Apple Watch app that keeps you progressing towards your goals. So, get on it. We have a competition going on right now. You can get in there. You can join and compete against me. So join my community, the Wadcast community on there. You'll see it on the app. And then see, we're going to start checking every Friday to see who is beating me, how much you're working out, how many points you're getting, and if you work out, better than I do. All right. So how'd you like to do that? Screw your CrossFit games. Come to Eddie F's Wadcast competition on Fitiv. That's Fitiv, Fitiv. Experience an app that feels like it's been built just for you. Visit fitiv.com/promo. Enter the promo code WADCAST. That's fitiv.com/promo. Enter the promo code WADCAST for 33% off a year subscription. That's 33% off. That's Fitiv, Fitiv, Fitiv.com/promo. Enter WADCAST, 33% off a year subscription. Unlock your fitness with Fitiv Pulse. Now we got to get to the episode which was awesome. I was up in the Silicon Valley and I did a lot of interviews, and this one I've been looking forward to for a long time. I got to go over to Jason Khalipa's place and interview the janitor that cleans up Jason Khalipa's place. No, I'm joking. Jason Khalipa stopped by. He's a busy, busy man. You've all heard. Well, he sat down and talked with me, and we had a really fun time, and he was a nice dude, and I hope you enjoy this episode of the Wadcast with Jason Khalipa. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wadcast podcast. I'm a fucking idiot. I've just been talking for about 2 minutes and haven't recorded anything. I'm sitting here at NC Fit.
Yeah, this is our Campbell location.
Yeah, I'm at the Campbell location of NC Fit with probably one of the most famous CrossFitters of all time. I could give him all the accolades in the world, but I don't need to because the internet's already done that. Everybody knows who he is. If you're in CrossFit and you don't know who he is, you have something wrong with you. Jason Khalipa sitting across from me. I thought you'd be bigger. You look huge compared. You look huge compared to the other guys.
It's the jacket. I mean,
when you walk out there to compete, I'm like, this guy's in another sport. Like, how is he competing with these guys? Because he's 10 times bigger than them.
Yeah. I mean, well, I don't know what else to say about that. I'm too, when I was really competing at the highest level, I was like 208 pounds. I probably weigh 210, right? I mean, I'm the same weight that I was.
You look like a monster out there.
It's the gray sweat. It's the gray jacket.
You do have bigger guns than everyone too. CrossFitters have kind of tiny arms.
Yeah. I mean, CrossFitters, they have different, yeah, you're right. I mean, they're not like really, that bicep curl life isn't really as common, but I think a lot of people, when they see pictures on the internet or they watch it through live stream, what they don't realize is like, you're setting yourself up for being as successful on the floor, but also you're going to try and look good. So like, for example, I just competed at the Rogue Invitational, I don't know, maybe 8 months ago. And I had 2 goals, make sure that I can, put myself in a position to at least win or perform well and then look good while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So that means, diet down.
Tanning bed.
Yeah. Tanning bed. No tanning bed, but like, trim it up, feel right. And, when you go into the CrossFit Games, you're not necessarily looking at like, oh, I want to look good on TV. It's more like, okay, it's sunny outside. I've already leaned out because I'm trying to be in the best shape of my life. Probably trimmed up the body hair, feeling right. Yeah. And then I'm getting the huge pump on because I'm lifting all these weights. And so you're just as set up for success. It's kind of like a bodybuilder going on stage. It's the exact same thing. You have the lights, you have all the different things that help make you look probably bigger than you really are.
And I don't know if this got into your head. I mean, it does a little bit. Like as a comedian, there is an advantage to being better looking for women. For men, it's like a disadvantage. Like I've got a couple friends that are really good looking comedians and nobody wants to help them because comedians were the guy that couldn't get laid, that had to resort to being funny to be, that's why they're funny, because that's all they had.
Yeah.
So when they see a good looking guy come in and start being funny, they're like, no. So it's a disadvantage for a man, but for a woman, the way the industry's still set up, they're like, oh, hot chick and she's funny. Let's give her own, 15 series and movies and TV show, and then they soar. But as CrossFitters, I see it too, where if you're a hot chick and you're pretty good at CrossFit, you excel.
Yeah, you're doing right. I mean, it surely isn't a negative. Let's put it that way. I think a lot of it also has to do with personality. When brands are looking at who they want to get behind, they need to look at, okay, is this person aesthetically pleasing to the eye? I mean, that's a factor, like bottom line. And then also, where their performance is at, but then also how is their performance and how are they going to be to work with?
Sure.
Some of these people, if you look really good, your performance really good, but you're really hard to work with, people over time are just not going to want to work with you.
Right.
If you say you're going to do something, just do it.
You hear that, Hunter? my friend Hunter McIntyre, who's always on the show, is 7-time world champion OCR guy.
Yeah.
And he's just a pain in the fucking ass.
I watched him at the games this year.
Yeah. He crushed it. I was with Neil Maddox yesterday doing the show, and Hunter called while I was talking to him, and I said, I'm with Neil Maddox right now, and I'd rather talk to him than talk to you. Hunter called in. So I'd rather talk to him because he's actually really made it to the games. And Hunter goes, yeah, but I don't want to talk to him. He never won. And, I go, yeah, but he doesn't collapse doing handstand walks. So Hunter was a little bummed out at me, but fuck him. I was going to tell you the funny story. So,
sure. Yeah, I'm ready. It's
not funny. When I first got into CrossFit, I was just doing it as like, I liked it. I loved it. And it was, not in the beginning stages, but like, I think like CrossFit was still at the like Santa Cruz gym where Glassman was. And I was watching all the videos and everything, and I was geeking out on it like everyone does. And, I came up here to do a show. And I was like, I want to drop in on a gym. And I looked and I saw you, and I was like, this guy's like the best. I think you had just won the games.
I mean, yeah.
What year was that? 2008. Yeah. 08. Yeah. You had just won the games. Yeah. And I'm like, this guy's the best CrossFitter in the world. And just randomly went on Facebook and messaged you. And I was like, hey, I'm a comedian. I'm doing shows, and I want to come by your gym. Meet you. And you're like, cool. And I was like, it was very weird because I came from this world of comedy where I know super famous people, people like Dave Chappelle very well, or, Joe Rogan or whoever. And all of a sudden I'm in this like other world, and I was just so geeked out. Like, oh, maybe this guy will talk to me.
Yeah.
and you were like, I just messaged you on Facebook, and you're like, yeah, stop by. And then you were never there. I went and worked out at your gym, and you weren't there, and it broke my heart.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it broke my heart.
At least I got back to you on Facebook.
Yeah, you did.
And now I can't even really use Facebook. That was starting out. I wish I had done, because I accepted all, you cap out at your friends you could have on Facebook.
5,000.
It's like a weird thing. But anyways, well, I'm glad I got back to you. Glad you stopped by the gym. And here we are 10 years later or whatever it is. And now we're meeting up, and you're at our gym.
I think one of your coaches came to my show. I forget who it was. Nice guy. I did his class, and then it was like, hey, I got a show tonight. He's like, I'll come by. And I have no idea. That's back when you had the spray paint on the wall.
Oh yeah. Was that the 2 floors, or was that the small? We probably had different color flooring. I don't know if you remember this, but so our first location was like maybe twice the size of the room we're sitting in right now. And we're in a conference room at one of our locations. And then after that, we expanded. So we spent there 6 months. Then we rolled into a location that was like maybe 2,500 square feet. So, significantly bigger. And then from there, we found this 2-story building, which was really cool. The downstairs was like our CrossFit area. And then upstairs, we had jiu-jitsu and a kids area. And, that was a really unique space because it was a 2-floor model. And we used to have like these giant speakers and just old school graffiti on the walls. We built our own pull-up rigs. That was some good times.
Yeah. I remember you doing King Kong.
Oh, King Kong. Yeah.
And I think that was the first video where I ever saw you. And I was like, and in my head, I was like, that's my goal. Like, I want to be able to do King Kong someday.
Yeah. I just had Josh Everett here a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about King Kong because at the time that was such a unique workout, to deadlift the weight that was and clean and handstand push up and muscle up. It required a lot of strength and then also this gymnastic skill. And I remember watching him do it. I'm like, oh man, I want to do it. And that was the motivation back then. I mean, back then it was really interesting though, because before the internet really got too popular and YouTube was kind of like the key thing, I would do challenge videos against different people on YouTube. So I'd challenge like OPT at the time was the 2008 CrossFit Games champion. For like a year or two, I would challenge on YouTube because that was the only way you could really like find good times.
Yeah.
And so you could still search YouTube like Khalipa verse. There was this one guy, Bionic, out of Florida, and him and I used to battle, and he used to wear like these yellow shorts,
Bionic.
That
was his name. What was his real name?
Something Flores, I want to say. I'd have to go.
Where is he now? Do you know?
No, I don't. But he went and competed at the '08 games. And so OPT and this gentleman Bionic both competed. I remember walking up to him and be like, "Oh yeah, that's our YouTube battle guys." Yeah. Anyways, that was the old school days of CrossFit.
You were pretty young though. I remember you didn't like. I looked you up or something, and I was like, "How the fuck is this guy doing all this?" Like you already had a business.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think. How old were you?
So I graduated from college in 2008. And I had gone straight through, right? So I think I was probably 21, 22. And then I had opened the business. So it was like a lot that just happened at once for me. So I had been working at the traditional gym all throughout college. So I went to college, worked at the traditional gym. And then when I got out, I knew I wanted to open up a business for sure. I thought I was going to open up a conventional gym. And then I was introduced to CrossFit in 2006 and I really became passionate about it. And so when I graduated from college, I was the natural next step. And so I had signed a lease and everything. And then I had ended up winning the CrossFit Games like a couple weeks later. So I graduated in July. CrossFit Games were in July. Won the CrossFit Games. Opened the business. All of it just kind of happened. And got engaged at the same time.
Wow. So winning the, congratulations on that. But winning the games really helped you too, because it allowed you to. It
did. It created, people ask me that sometimes. Nowadays it's a little bit different. But in the beginning, it raised some awareness of who we were and what we were doing in the Bay Area. But, I always kind of fall back on, you could be the champion of whatever, but if you're a dick, no one's going to want to come to your gym.
Sure.
And so it might have opened the doors. It definitely opened the doors, I should say. Because at the time, money was really valuable to me. And not that it's not valuable anymore, but it's just at the time it was really important. So when I opened our business, I opened it with $5,000 of my money, put some money on a credit card, and then I won like $1,800 for the CrossFit Games. And at the time, $1,800 from the CrossFit Games and some sponsorship money was a big deal.
Yeah.
And so that helped me kind of grow the business. I went and bought another rower with it. And when you only have one rower and you get another one, that's a big deal. And so those are the things that really kind of helped me. And then from there, I just kept competing, kept building the business, and here we are 12 years later.
Yeah. Pretty insane.
Yeah.
Because it was just, you think about a 22-year-old kid coming out of college. I didn't settle down till I was like 32. I was like, I got out of college and I'm like, where can I keep partying?
Yeah.
Like, how do I keep this party going from college? That's a pretty entrepreneurial sense to have at a 22-year-old kid and go, I'm going to start a business. And you're like, I had $5,000. I had $5. I moved to New York City right out of college to do stand up. And I literally had first and last month's rent. I paid it. And then I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have anything after that.
Yeah, I think for me, I graduated from high school. At the time, I didn't get into the college I was looking for because I was a jackass in high school, just the popular jock kid who just didn't care.
What was your sport?
I was playing football and I did track and field. I threw the shot. And then when I went to go to college, football ended up not working out for a number of reasons. And I went to a junior college because I didn't get into the college I was looking for. And that was really where I woke up and I was like, dude, I got to get my stuff together. No one's going to keep kind of pushing me forward, right? High school had this system built in where you could just kind of cruise and there's this system that kind of pushes you through. But the first time in my life where there was a crossroads, right, left or right, all my friends went right. Meaning they had put in the work to get there and I hadn't. And so when I went to this junior college, it was really, I don't want to use the word humiliating, but it was eye-opening. And so that was really where I said, hey, I got to get my shit together. And that was the moment where I started working full-time, going to school full-time, and getting after it. And our lights went off in our gym.
That's okay.
But, so anyways, I go to junior college.
That lit your fire.
Yeah, that lit my fire. And at that point, I started a couple of different companies. I started a clothing company called Faded Lifestyles. That one didn't do so good. I made a few poor investments in a bunch of different companies.
What did Faded Lifestyles, what did that make?
So Faded Lifestyles was like a nightlife t-shirt brand.
Was it like those, what were those MMA shirts, remember?
Yeah, like Affliction.
Affliction.
Yeah, it was like Affliction only for the night. And, but it was a really cool experience because you got to learn a lot about business. So I had 3 other partners. And we used to screen print our own shirt.
Yeah.
And my cousin happened to be a club promoter at the time. And so we were like 18, just graduated from high school. And we're going at the club throwing out t-shirts. I'll never forget, man. We had a phenomenal experience. We got stickers on the back of our trucks and really, all about it. But we didn't really realize what it took to run a business.
Yeah.
And I put in $5,000 again in that one, actually. And we lost all that. But I got some cool T-shirts out of it. But really, what it was.
Do you have any of them?
No,
none of them.
No, I have some pictures though. But it really taught us a lot about entrepreneurship, a lot about business, a lot about that kind of stuff. And it was really helpful because you learned what it was like to run a business with 4 other people who had different skill sets. But I learned a lot about this concept of earned confidence and this idea that you need to have a background in something before you want to go out there and do it. And what gave us the right to go out there and open a company, a clothing company, when we had no background in it, had never screen printed anything, had no industry knowledge, and we just wanted to do it because it was a passion of ours and we were excited about it. And I learned the hard way, that's not a good way to start a business.
I'll tell you another guy who started a business like that, a t-shirt business, and developed it into something else, was Mark Burnett, the producer of Survivor.
Oh, yeah.
And The Apprentice and every other big one of probably the biggest Hollywood executives in the world, started on the Venice Boardwalk selling T-shirts.
Wow.
He would print T-shirts and sell them, and he was nannying. And I just ran into him recently at a place where I get my smoothie. And he does the Eco Challenge now. He's back.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, Hunter and I want to do the Eco Challenge. He's like, fuck off.
But yeah, I mean, so, being in college, starting the clothing company, that kind of stuff. And then it laid the framework for, that entrepreneurial side. And I had gotten engaged and I knew I, wanted to provide for my then, wife. And so I just grinded it out and opened the business. I mean, for me, I didn't want to get into finance or whatever. I mean, I had a 4-year degree from Santa Cruz University, which is up here, and I could have gotten into a traditional job, but it just wasn't for me. And I'm happy now looking back on it that I didn't go the conventional route.
Yeah, I had a similar route. It's funny. I was no college would accept me because my grades were that bad. My SATs were good. My grades were so bad. And, it was just a fuck up. And I was going to have to go to junior college. And because I ran track, I was going to go to the school called Brevard College in North Carolina, which had the best junior college track program in the country. And they were like, come here for 2 years and then you'll be able to go to any school in the country. And all my friends were all going off to college. And I was like, I'm a loser.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying if you go to junior college, you're a loser. I'm saying that I just felt like that because everyone else.
Yeah, that's the exact same way that I felt.
I was the only one.
Yeah.
And luckily, literally the day before the state championships, the head coach of the pit track team came and saw me at practice. And he was like, we will bring you in, but you got to promise me you're not going to be a fuck up. And I was like, I swear to God, I'll do all my homework. I was like, please don't make me go to Brevard College. And, luckily I never had to go.
Yeah. I mean, not to bash on JC's because going there was probably the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
So I'm super grateful. I went to a junior college.
Where was it? Was it up here?
Yeah. It's a place called West Valley.
Did you live at home?
Yeah. I lived at home, saved a bunch of money and just woke up and grinded it out.
Yeah, you probably took it a lot more serious because all your friends are off at colleges partying and everything, and you're like, this is all I got.
Yeah.
School.
Yeah. And so at that point, I started working sales full-time at the gym, going to school full-time, and I really, looking back on it, that laid the framework for a lot of stuff that would happen later on in life.
So you were already a gym rat, though. You were...
Yeah, because I was working, so, when I graduated from high school, I got into... I wanted to lose weight because I was pretty big for football. I was trying to get bigger for football.
What was your position?
At the time, I was playing defensive end and then guard. So I was 260, which is pretty big. Yeah, I was pretty fluffy. And so I found Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, mainly Muay Thai, in this Sanshou, which is Chinese kickboxing. And I used that as a catalyst to lose weight because the gym had it. And I had gone to the gym and I was working the front desk throughout high school. So on the weekends, I'd work the front desk and just sell Gatorades and whatever else. Then I started doing sales when I graduated because that just was a good progression for me. And so I got into kickboxing, lost a bunch of weight. And then, a year or two later, I was kind of doing the whole bodybuilder thing and found CrossFit. And that was
So you were one body part a day kind of guy?
Oh, yeah. I was back and buys, chest and tries. I was all about it. And, at that point, when you're in the gym as much as I was, the conventional gym, right? Because I'd go to school in the mornings and I'd be there all night, get drop-ins and walk-ins and try and sell them or whatever. I learned a lot about bodybuilding from that.
Were you getting, when you were working in the gym like that, were you getting commissions on how many memberships you sold?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And that laid the framework for me wanting to open up a business. Because what happened was, what I realized was that how successful I would be financially had a direct representation of how much work I wanted to do. So at times they would give me like a list of collections, like thousands of phone numbers. And I would just call and call and call. And I would get a 10% commission on any collection that I received. So if
Just
someone,
people that weren't paying their bills.
So if someone passed owed us $1,000, right? I could make $100 off that.
Yeah.
And then, on top of that, it was about following up with old leads. Because it's really interesting when you're that young and you have nothing else going on.
Yeah.
You all you care about is, not all you care about, but one of the things was, I want to make money. I want to see what I could do.
Yeah.
And so I would just call leads and call leads and call leads and call leads. And
you got to have some funny stories.
Oh, dude. The thing about it is where I was at, I was in a place called Milpitas, and ethnically it was a very diverse area. You had a lot of different, backgrounds, from Indian, Asian, Hispanic, white, you name it. Every ethnicity was represented. And so you got to learn how to communicate with different cultures and different people. And that was again, a really cool thing. There's two really valuable things that I learned at a younger age was, I was able to, the gym owner really took me under his wing and taught me a lot about business. So I'd ride the elliptical with him at night and he would teach me a bunch about business side, right? And then blending that with understanding sales and understanding how to talk to people really helped me when I opened up our business, because I had this background where I would talk to this guy on the elliptical, pick his brain about P&Ls and business, more like that side. And then I had the sales side where you learn how to, you talk to a gentleman across from you who's 55 years old. What am I going to talk to him about that's going to make him interested in what our product is, and how can I learn from him? And it was really cool, valuable.
It's also
time in my life.
It's pretty cool that you did learn all these different cultures and learn to adapt and be able to talk to people from all different cultures, because being your South Bay, this is a melting pot.
We can open the door; it'll keep the light on.
Okay.
Yeah. The South Bay is a complete melting pot of different cultures. That's what makes it really interesting too. You can just walk out the door. Yeah, there you go. Turned on. So we have these motion lights at our gym, and these things drive me nuts. They're great because they keep save electricity, but they're tough because they you could probably close the door again, or otherwise it's gonna be super
it's
loud.
Gotta be open the whole way. Oh
no, otherwise it's gonna be loud. At least you guys know we're at a real gym. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did. This. I always say this show's about you, but I always tell my dumb stories. When I moved to New York and was doing stand-up in the beginning to make money, I was a trainer at Equinox. I was a temp. I did temp work where you would just sign up at an agency and they'd send you to a different place every day. And I didn't know. I was in a different place every single day because they'd be like, can you do the whole week? And I'm like, no, I can do Tuesday. Because I'm on the road. I'm going to Kentucky on Wednesday to Friday to make $100 doing stand up. And so they would send me to the shittiest gigs to do these just office work, answer phones, do whatever it is. And I was just like, I'm not coming back to this place tomorrow. So I'm going to do the least amount of work as possible because I just want the check and I got to get the fuck out of here and go do stand up all night long. And I'd be exhausted because I'd be out in the clubs all night long and then get up at, 7 a.m. to hit the subway and go to my next job. So one day I'm working at a call center, and not a call center, but a pharmaceutical company that we had to answer phones. And they go, just, here's a script you read. And it was for an AIDS, oral testing device. Like you could test to see if you had AIDS. And a pharmaceutical company was calling AIDS centers, health centers, to see what device they use or what kind of testing method they used. And so we had a script, and it said, "Hi, my name is blank," fill in, and it said, fill in, your name. I'm calling from Merck or one of these companies we've got the AIDS OraSure or testing, blah, blah, blah. Read this whole thing and find out these questions. So I'm sitting with 4 other temps. We don't know each other. We're sitting at the table, and I'm like, really? This is what I'm going to do all fucking day. Just call this number. And so I read the first one, and I'm like, I'm so bored. So I did it, and they just shoved us in a room, and they're like, do this for 8 hours. So the second one, I go, "Hi, my name is state your name." And I just read the whole script. I talk to the person. The guy next to me kind of giggles, and I'm like, I got to laugh. So the next time I'm like, hi, my name is, and then I do it. And this guy just starts laughing hysterically. So then it becomes and the other two start getting involved in it. And I'm like, what can I do to just get a laugh so they start doing it. We're doing it back and forth, and we're using all the Simpsons ones. I'm like, hi, my name is Hal Jalika Kick. I'm Mr. Jalika Kick.
I mean, you find a way to keep it interesting.
And we're
right?
just doing it the whole day. All of a sudden, this one dude goes, hey, my turn. I'll do one. I'm like, okay. And I'm doing Abe, Owner. There's like thousands of these names. You can Sal, Lamy. I'm every name you could ever have. So the guy hears me doing these ones like How'd you like a kick? Or I forget, like getting aggressive. He goes, hi, my name is I'm going to beat the fucking shit out of you. And I'm calling for, and the three other temps look at him like, what the fuck? You're going to get us all fired. Like, he just didn't get it.
Yeah.
And he goes, hi, my name is I'm going to kick the fucking shit out of you.
What if the person said they're lying?
It was literally when you would say this to them, you would get this kind of awkward pause, but then they would move on. Like sometimes they would go, what did you say your name was? And I would go, my name's Frank. Like, what did you, I would do that a lot when I would go, my name's, and they'd go, excuse me, what did you say your name is? And I'm like, Harry.
Yeah.
Hey, people. Sorry, again, I'm going to interrupt to talk to you because I think this is really important. I really, really do. We all read our ingredients. We all know important things. There's one thing, like when I take my vitamin C, I always want to make sure, I get it. It absorbs into my body. There's all kinds of different things that can help different ingredients get into you and be more bioavailable. Recently I found out about an ingredient called estrogen. Estrogen. That's ASTRAGIN. Do me a favor. Go to Google and type in ASTRAGIN and start reading about estrogen. And then you're going to want to make sure that every single thing every supplement you take has estrogen in it, because it's a game-changing ingredient that helps support gut health, absorption, and bioavailability of key nutrients in hundreds of supplements worldwide. It's 100% plant-based compound, and it's created by the developers at New Live Science. All right. Let's be real. When you help your gut health, everything else works better, and we absorb the right amount of nutrients our bodies need to thrive. I have been through bad gut issues and had to really take care of my gut. I am really, really talking from experience here. Your gut is so important. Everything they're talking about now is how important your gut is. Read any Chris Kresser, read any Mark Sisson, read all the stuff that's going on and how important it is. Well, New Live Science specializes in the research and development of proprietary and clinically proven nutraceutical ingredients since 1997. That's what these guys do. And estrogen is a patented 100% natural compound that's going to increase the absorption of many vital nutrients, promoting a healthy gut environment for better health. Okay. A lot of things you're taking, you think you're getting them. You're not. You're pooping them right back out. They're not getting absorbed. So you want to make sure when you go to the store to buy your supplements, make sure it has estrogen in it. If it doesn't, contact the maker of it and say, hey, why don't you guys have this? Send them an email. Go, look, this should be in there. Make sure estrogen's in the formula. And if they don't, go to the store and go, hey, when you're at the health food store or wherever you get your supplements, say which one has it or find one with it. And that's what you want. It's ideal for people from all walks of life. Whether you're a hardcore CrossFitter or you're just hiking and, swimmer or whatever you are, any kind of athlete, and you want more out of your supplements, make sure you're getting better absorption with estrogen. Jason Khalipa here travels as much as I do. And, I don't know what his suitcase of choice is, but I am a suitcase connoisseur. My suitcases are so important to me. I've got a whole bunch of different ones. My backpack, everything is all about efficiency, style. Like I got a whole efficiency is probably the most important. Size is important. Durability. I really care. I probably care more about my suitcases than my cars, because I use my suitcases more than my cars. And Away, there's a company called Away. They create, products built for the way modern travelers see the world. These suitcases are perfect, and they offer a range of essentials, all which will make your travels seem like seamless. I am on planes all the time. I most of the time travel with just overhead, and I can't have a suitcase that I can't stuff an overhead or they take away from me. I hate when they take it away, when they're like, that doesn't fit. And you're like, yeah, it does. Or you get on that like small plane and it doesn't fit. Well, the Away suitcase, the overhead, is built perfectly, and it's got everything you need in it. It's really durable. It's really good looking, and it's easy to carry up and down stairs because it's so lightweight. It's a spinner. You know what a spinner is? And I'm not talking about that, that one you put on top of you, if you know what I mean, guys. I'm talking about the spinner it's got the four wheels, so you can like stand it up. You can put your coffee on it. It's really, I don't want to talk about how good looking this suitcase is, but it is. Yeah. I mean, you look like a stud. There's a laundry bag for dirty clothes. It's got a built-in lock the TSA won't question. It's got this really cool thing you can plug in. It's got like a little battery pack, so you can plug in and get an extra life or a couple lives into your cell phone, which we all need. So you can just, while you're sitting waiting for a flight, you plug right into your phone and charge up your phone. How about that? And this is the best part. Knowing that Away is going to fix or replace my suitcase ASP, if anything ever breaks, means I never have to worry about my luggage. I'm not going to talk about a competitor's piece of luggage that I have sitting in my house right now where the zipper's broken. They're not fixing it. But I will talk about Away that will fix it. So everyone's got a unique style, travel, which is why Away offers a range of suitcases made of different materials like polycarbonate, aluminum, durable nylon. They got a variety of colors. They got 2 carry-on sizes. So for whoever you are, whatever you need to pack, Away has luggage that works for how you travel. And, like I said, it's got a lifetime guarantee, I believe here, and every suitcase comes with an interior organization system, built-in compression pad to help you pack more. And I told you that hidden laundry bag for separate, you take your dirty clothes. I'm always using the plastic bag in the hotel, and it's got those 360 spinner wheels. So check it out. Here's what you got to do. If you want, Away suitcase, you're going to go to awaytravel.com/wadcast. That's awaytravel.com/wadcast. Did I say that twice? Well, I'm going to say it 4 times. awaytravel.com/wadcast. awaytravel.com/wadcast. I got to talk to you about an app that is changing my life. I was not eating enough protein, not even close. I thought my nutrition was good. I didn't realize how much I was eating too much fat and too much carbs and not enough protein. So I figured it all out by using Macro Stacks. That's MACROSTAX. And it's changing everything. I'm starting to look ripped, people. I'm looking good. And I'm getting stronger. And I wish I had known this seriously 25 years ago. But they didn't have like the internet then. This is a web app that helps you figure out how much to eat. You stay on track, reach your goals, and you don't have to think about it. MacroStacks is the best all-in-one app for counting macros. With MacroStacks, you get a custom macro plan, recipes that fit your exact macros, access to a nutrition coach, and a place to track everything and so much more. MacroStacks has a scientifically proven flexible plan that will help you get results without feeling deprived. If you don't like using recipes, that's fine too. Although the recipes are awesome. My wife, I force her to cook these things for me. She's like a slave. I put her in the kitchen and I'm like, get on the MacroStacks and make me some chicken, make me some steak. MacroStacks has a database of over 800,000 foods for easy tracking. So like when you're going to plug them in, they've got them all. Everything you eat, practically, it's in there. I mean, unless you're some weirdo that lives in like Mongolia and eats some animal that we've never heard of, it's in there. You just put it in and it'll tell you what the nutritional values are of everything, and you're going to track your progress. And you're also going to have access to a nutrition coach all in one. How about that? You got a nutrition coach. MacroStacks has a wide variety of recipes for anyone from beginner to expert and can follow along with ease. All recipes can be made in bulk to help with meal prep, which is very important if you want to stay in shape or keep a family going. So here's the discount. We always give you a discount. It's 25% off your MacroStacks subscription. Visit MacroStacks, that's MacroStacks.com, and enter WODcast. Okay? That's the code you're going to enter. So it's MacroStacks.com. Enter the code WODcast. Okay? And it's a web app, so it's not downloadable. The app is not in the App Store. It functions just like an app, but you go to it and you're going to press that little bottom button. You know how to do it. So sign up, learn more, and find out. MacroStacks is just, you got to do it. Please trust me, and then tell me, oh my God, I didn't realize that I've been eating really crappy, and MacroStacks is turning me into Mr. America or Mrs. America. So MacroStacks.com, code WODcast.
I listen to you, 22 years old, and you're like Mr. Industrious, like making money, winning the CrossFit games. When are you going to slow down?
I mean, I don't have any plans to. I mean, the thing about it is, for me, it's like I look at what we're doing here and what we have going on. I just think that we're not even getting close to reaching our potential. Right. And so for me, it's not about, how much money can we make? It's about, are we really getting to the limits of what I could accomplish? And I look at that in different verticals, right? So as an athlete, did I accomplish what I felt like I could accomplish at the CrossFit Games? Yeah, I did. And would I have liked things to turn out a little bit different? Maybe get in a few more seasons, maybe not. But, when my daughter got sick, it was a really, really easy time just to get out of the sport.
Sure.
And so did I reach my potential there? Yeah, I'm good. I have no regrets. All good. But in business and in family, you got to ask yourself on a regular basis, like, am I reaching my potential? It's one thing to build a business and be like, other people might say, you seem successful. It's like, well, if you don't feel that way, if you don't feel like you've reached your potential, then there's a lack of fulfillment there. And so for us, it's how many opportunities can we provide for staff? How many members can we impact? And then are we really going to reach our potential as a business owner, as a father, as a husband? I mean, I think about that all the time.
Well, from an outside perspective, you hear about people being talked about in this business, and, there's three people known to really doing well, making money. And it's like Glassman, you, and Rogue. Your name is always put in that category of a guy who's built like this empire and done a really smart thing. And you're that model that when I hear gym owners talk or anybody in the business, they're always like, oh yeah, Khalipa, yeah, what Khalipa's doing. Hey, and nobody knows exactly what you're doing or what your day to day is or what your hardships are, but what they see and what they know, the perspective is that, wow, this guy's really hitting it. And I've found from talking to a lot of CrossFitters, a lot of successful ones, you guys are all the same in that, I mean, you were a little different saying like you felt like you did what you needed to do in the games. I feel like they're all like even Froning, like I need to win more, everybody wants to win more or have won more or saw that time that they like didn't win. But they're super achievers. So I found that about it's all alpha males who really, or alpha females who really, really want to constantly keep achieving. It's the mentality of a CrossFitter. It's like, I got to go in every day and I got to win and I got to be the best in there. And I got to succeed.
Yeah. I think it could be overbearing at times. And I think sometimes, like for me, I've just had to have this epiphany that like competing was great and I always enjoyed it, but I never got into it for fame or money ever. I got into it because I really wanted to push myself, and pushing myself in the gym carried over in everything else that I did in life. And so for me, like, that ship has sailed in terms of like I competed for a long time and I loved it. but then life's priorities start to take over, and you have to be okay with not being identified just as a CrossFit Games athlete. That isn't who you are, right? You have to be more than that. Otherwise, when it dries up, because it will eventually, you're left with nothing, right?
Yeah.
You have to be more than that, you know?
I think that affects a lot of people.
It does affect a lot of people. And I think that whatever you're in, if you're an athlete in particular, eventually that will start to fade. And so you need to be okay with recognizing that, hey, this is something that's a big part of my life and I love it, but it doesn't define who I am. What defines who I am? What am I going to be about? And how can I utilize this concept, this voice that I'm getting created to go do some really cool things? And so that's what I've been thinking about for a long time is how can we do more? How can we, but for me, I caught it at a different time because these guys who came into the sport in the last couple of years, or specifically if you got into the sport like in 15, 16, you know, there was sponsorship opportunities on the table. If you were doing really well, you could become a full-time. A lot of these guys at the top are no longer coaches and gym owners. They're full-time athletes. Yeah. And so they need to start thinking about what, you know, for us in the early days, it wasn't like that. For us, you know, when I won the game, I got $1,500. And then the second year I got 5th place. I don't think I won anything. And then I took top 10 for the next like 8 years. And you don't really start making money until, you know, you get to the top of the sport. And at that time, I really I needed something else to be successful. And that's why I started a business.
Could you have been self-sustaining from sponsorship? And at what point? How long did it take to get to that?
I got sponsored by Reebok in 2010. And that one, I'll just tell you. So my first sponsorship was with Rogue. It was like $1,500. It was like $2,000. It was not much. Then with Reebok, I think it was like $10,000. And then after that, it really grew, like 11 and 12. And then, you know, I got podium positions again in 13, 14.
Did they bonus you, like saying, hey, we're going to give you a lot more money if you finish?
Yeah, so you get bonuses, like, but you also win the competition money, right? So you win regionals money, you win the games money. And so, yeah, I mean, you could be making good money. I mean, you know, if you're at the top of the sport, but I think people underestimate or overestimate how many people are actually making, quote, good money.
Yeah.
There's probably 20 CrossFitters on the planet that make over 6 figures.
Yeah.
20.
That's crazy.
Right? And so it's just something to be aware of. That's all.
Yeah. And I know that. And I'm in a business where you sink or swim. There's a lot of people that make nothing. And then I'm in the lucky few that make a decent amount of money, and then there's the crazy multi-millionaires. And so you struggle for so long usually that when you make it, it's like, oh, I never thought I was going to make it. Holy shit, I can't believe I have all this money. But there's also the people that make it really quickly. And I've seen it with like some of my friends that were like, when we were really young, we're on like Road Rules or Real World on MTV. Mm-hmm. And MTV used to get them a psychiatrist for after the show because they would have this level of fame for about a year after the show. And then then as soon as there was a new episode, everyone forgot who they were.
Yeah.
And they had to deal with coming down from that.
Yeah.
And a lot of athletes have to deal with that.
Yeah. And I also think that during that time, they probably don't take enough time to reflect and enjoy that experience.
Sure.
You know, something that I always told myself on a regular basis is like, this could be my last time competing. Go out there, have a great experience, and live it up. And I'm glad I did that, you know, because you never know when the last time you're going to compete in it. And that goes for, you know, a lot of things. But I think if any athletes are listening, for those people who are competing, I think it's really important to not be defined by your performance, but allow that to be something that you do for yourself, right? You don't do it for anybody else. And that's also what makes the greats the great, right? Matt Fraser's not out there doing it for anybody else but himself because he's inspired. He's internally motivated to win. And if you're doing it for money or fame, that shit's not going to come quick and it's not going to come easy. And you need to be doing it for other reasons.
Yeah. You were also one of the guys, it looked like you were having a good time.
Yeah.
Some guys, it doesn't look like they're having a good time.
Yeah. No, you know, and that depends on, yeah. And there's a lot more pressure now too. I mean, there's always been pressure, right? There's always been a lot of pressure. But especially for guys who are making this their full-time careers, I mean, and bonus incentives and things like that. I mean, it's a job. Right?
Would you like better, individual or team?
They were both really unique. So individual was really cool because you got to see the fruit of your labor, like go directly into something. Mm-hmm. And based on your performances, you only had yourself to blame. The team was cool because you learned how to, You learned how to utilize each individual's skills to optimize the team's performance, but at the same time, it wasn't all on you. So it was fun because you got to take a little bit of the pressure off, but it was also challenging because it was outside of your control. There are things that were outside of your control that directly impacted how your performance was. So there's pros and cons to both.
You were on the team with Pat Barber and Miranda when Miranda blew out her knee.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, like that, right? I mean, totally outside of our control. And in hindsight, right? A lot of things happen for a reason, and you got to have really interesting perspective on that. So I competed as an individual for 7 years, and then I took second in 13 and third in 14. So some people would say, damn, this dude's at the tip of the spear for the sport, right? Back on the podium both. But I had to do a deep reflection at that point. Our business had grown to, I think at that point, we probably had like maybe 15 locations, probably 100 employees. I had just had a son, so I had 2 kids now. And I started saying, like, man, I'm burning it at all ends right now. I'm trying to win the CrossFit Games. I'm trying to be the best business owner I could be. And I'm trying to be the best father and husband I could be too. And it was just too much.
How much, what kind of guy were you with workouts? Are you a 3 a day?
Well, at that point, I'd get up really early, hit something. Midday, I would do like traditional CrossFit. In the evening, I would do like some kind of 20-minute pump. And I'd run into that. I mean, I must have done this at least, more times than I could possibly count, where I would be in the garage. I'd get home from work. I'd be in the garage trying to get in like a 20-minute EMOM, and my wife would just be screaming at me, dinner's ready, it's hot, it's on the table, right? Get your ass inside, basically, right?
I get the same shit.
Because she was, and I understand where she's at. Cause like when I ever barbecue or something, when the food is hot, you want people to eat it, cause when it's not hot, it's not as good.
I'm so upset with my wife when she does it. I'm like, I'll microwave it.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, but I just made it. And I'm like, I don't. Yeah, I'm in the middle of a workout.
It doesn't matter, for her, she drew. My wife is a no nonsense woman. She drew a clear line in the sand, right? Yeah. Like, hey, dinner's ready. Get your ass inside. And I would come in so many times, just dripping sweat. I'd put a towel around myself, shirt off, and just sit at the kitchen table. And she didn't care as long as I was in the room. But I just remember like so many times. So many times I'd be in the garage just getting after it, and I would jump in the car and my t-shirt wouldn't even be on. And it just, after a while, it started to strain our relationship. Yeah. And so I decided to go team in 2015. And going team was a really cool experience. And having Miranda get hurt was obviously very unfortunate, but it laid the framework for some really interesting stuff because we ended up taking, we were in like a really dominant position to win, and we ended up taking 10th overall because of her injury. We couldn't finish competing, but you just walk outside the door. There you go. You're good. But maybe everything happens for a reason, right? So we end up, instead of taking first, which I think we had very good chance of winning. And I hate being one of those guys who says, oh, we would have won if blah, blah, but we had a good shot at winning. Had she not gotten hurt. It was just a fact based on points. And had she won, a couple months later, my daughter was diagnosed with leukemia. So how would that have changed my perspective when she was diagnosed? I would like to say it wouldn't have changed, but maybe it would have. Maybe I would have had.
Your daughter, by the way, is in complete remission, correct?
Yeah. So, yes.
Okay.
So remission is an interesting term because you can get into remission really quickly. But the goal is that with leukemia in particular, you could technically go in remission where they can't see it. Leukemia cells at a specific level on through different testing very quickly, but then they keep treating you for a very long time because they know statistically if they don't treat it for the next 3 years, statistically you'll get it back. So right now where we're at is she got treated for 2.5 years, and she's been out of treatment now for about 1.5 years. And basically every year, every month, you're putting money in the bank, yep. Right? Real money. Every single month is like a big deal. And then you get to 5 years out, and that's when you're technically cured.
Okay.
So, we celebrated very, very hard when she finished treatment because obviously I was the biggest deal in our life. And we'll be celebrating even harder 5 years in. So,
that is, did she need a bone marrow transplant at all?
No. So traditionally with leukemia, there's generally 2 types, specifically for childhood. And for everybody, there's AML and there's ALL. ALL is what she had. And so when you get diagnosed with leukemia, it takes about 2 days. They do this bone marrow aspirate where they go into your bone marrow, and it's a really very heavy conversation, very heavy stuff. But when you get the test back, in a perfect world, you would want B cell ALL. And that's what she had. If you had to pick one,
right,
you want what she had. And it was treatable. It just, so she did not need a bone marrow transplant. She just went with traditional chemotherapy for 2.5 years.
Okay. Which is rough. And my dad used to run a thing called the Dan Marino Leukemia Open. When I was a kid, my dad and Dan Marino had this, golf tournament together. And, my dad ran it, and I was a young kid at the time. And every year they had a kid that was the poster child, and the kid would come around and like hang out with me because just they like used the kid to be like, look at this kid and tell his story, and to raise all this money. And all the football players, Dan Marino would bring in all these quarterbacks from the NFL, and they would all play in this golf tournament. And they raised a ton of money. It was a really good thing my dad did. But I was about the same age as the kid all the time. So it was this weird thing where I had to see, and they usually had the shaved head, and it was really rough for me at that age to look at a kid and go, oh my God, like my life's so good and this kid's going through this. And a really weird thing, one of the kids, his name was Aaron Duramo, was one of the kids, and we just like played around. He would come around, they were getting the prizes ready and they would do this, or, during the golf day, I would ride around in a golf cart with this kid, whatever it was. So cut to like, I don't know, 15 years later or something, I'm in college, and one of my good buddies brings his buddy out to party with us. And the guy goes, hey, you might not remember me, but I was the poster child for the Leukemia Open that your dad used to do. And he's like, I'm Aaron Duramo. And I was like, fuck. Oh, you're alive.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was always like traumatized I'm like, this is awesome. You're alive.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. And he's like, yeah, man. And I was like, and like we became like buddies, and we would go out and party, and he'd go up to buy a beer. I'm like, yeah, buy me a beer. My dad saved your life. And he'd be like, fuck off. And we just became, and it was just so weird. But so I was around it a little bit, so I understand it. And it's brutal. I had a buddy have it, and he called me one time, and he was like, hey, I'm going to need you to go get tested. I said, what? And he's like, I might need a bone marrow transplant.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And somebody said to me, oh, that's the most painful thing in the world. And I was like, oh, fuck. Well, it's my friend, and he's.
Yeah. I mean, well, let's just to break down what you just said, because I think it's really important. To test yourself for a bone marrow, every human being on the planet should do this. If you're not doing this, you should go to bethematch.org or .com. Be the Match. Look it up. All they do is they send you a kit to your house and you cotton swab. That's it. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
And when you cotton swab, not my goal, I shouldn't say that. That's not fair. One of my dreams would be to someday be able to provide bone marrow to someone who really needs it. Because the thing about it is, the larger the net is cast, the more likely you are to be successful. So there's multiple different factors that contribute to you being a positive match for someone with bone marrow. Having a sibling is the most common. But if we could, especially with ethnically diverse people, if you're half Indian, half this or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's more challenging to find a bone marrow exact connection. But the more of these like 10 characteristics that you match up, the more likely your body is to take on the bone marrow. So if you're out there and you have not checked out Be the Match, it's free. Everybody should do it. And if you become a match, then at that point, at least you can make a decision on what you want to do, right?
Yeah.
But, if you're not out there cotton swabbing, you're missing out on a big opportunity.
Yeah, I have a buddy who, his father, who I'm good friends with his father too. He had a brother who needed a kidney, and he went, I'll give you my kidney. And something happened. His brother got better and didn't need the kidney. And his dad said, I've gone through all this testing and everything. I'm just going to give my kidney to someone. And I was like, wow, like, holy shit. That's a magnanimous person. You're going to give away a kidney. So he did. And he was really funny about it. He's like, if I find out this person's a piece of shit that I've given my kidney to,
I'll be pissed.
He's like, I'm going to be so angry.
Yeah.
And So he gave his kidney, and I was just talking to my friend the other day on a text message, and he's like, yeah, my dad's kidney's going. The one he has left. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And he's like, yeah, I might give my dad my
isn't that funny how that works?
And I was like, holy shit. And, his dad's probably in his 80s, so, he's led a pretty good life, but still, you don't want your kidney going. And it's like, fuck, I gave someone else and I'm losing one. So, he's at I think there's it's almost like cancer. There's 4 stages. And if you're at 4, you need a new kidney, and he's at 3. So hopefully he won't need one. But probably shouldn't have given it up. No. Get off this subject because I know it is heavy for you. And, but I want to know, how did you get into CrossFit?
So by the way, with my daughter, it's a heavy subject because my family and I have gone through and we've seen some really shitty shit. I mean,
I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I've got a daughter myself that is the love of my life. And all I ever think about is as long as they're healthy, I have the best life in the whole world.
Yeah.
I have a son and daughter, and I just pray that stays that way. And I think about, children's hospitals.
Yeah, they're heavy places.
Oh my God.
But they change your perspective. I think that's just to kind of cap that off. Look, I don't know if I'd be able to say this had the result not been as favorable as it is, right? But the fact that we spent 2.5 years, we probably spent 6 months in the actual hospital, like nights there, right? And when you're spending 6 months of nights, maybe a week here, a week there, whatever, you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about other people, and you learn how to, it really just changes your whole outlook and your perspective on family. And, so I'm grateful for the experience, but I never wish to have it again. And I don't wish it on anybody I know. I mean, anybody ever. I don't wish it on anybody, but if going through the experience really changed who I am, I think, for the rest of our life. And, my wife and I, I'm 34 now. So my daughter was diagnosed when I was 30. Right? Or whatever, 29, 30. So at a relatively young age to go through that experience, I think is going to lay the framework for the rest of our life. I mean, we do an annual pediatric cancer benefit that raises a lot of money for kids. And it's just given us really good focus on where we want to go from a philanthropic perspective, but also giving us good focus on, approaching the day with a different perspective. That's it. It's anyways, it's a good reminder of that.
And also, I mean, that's some serious adversity that you had to go through. And life just keeps getting tougher and tougher. I'm getting older. My parents are old. Everyone that I know now that are in my parents' age group are dying. They're going. Yeah. And it's fucking depressing.
Yeah.
And then I look at my parents, and my dad will call me every day and be like, who died? And my dad's 80, 83 or 84. And every day it's like, your wife was reading me, or my wife was, or your mother was reading me the obituaries today. And she's like, she does that every day because we know somebody who dies every day.
Yeah.
And it's, and I look at I don't want to get into it with my dad because my dad's not an emotional person and he's never talked about his feelings, and I don't want to put him, I think he's maybe one of those people that just pushes it away. So I'd rather him do that. But I'm like, wow, he must be going through such a hard fucking time. Like when you're older and you have to deal with that much death, that much suffering, that much. And I mean, they have their own health problems that they are developing or developed, and they were relatively healthy. But, as they hit their age, things start going quick. And, my dad's parents lived to be 96. So we were all like, oh, my dad's going to be fine. He's got these great genetics, but he just had a heart attack. And, that has probably a lot to do with lifestyle and what goes on now in Western society. But nobody talks about the psychological thing. The fact that, for the first 40 years of your life, you're like, everything's wonderful, blah, 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 blah. And then the next 40 years of your life, you're like, wow, everything's winding down. Everybody's going away. But what I'm saying is you had to do that at a young age where you had to look at mortality and go, wow, there's a chance.
Yeah, and it changes the way you look at things. And I think that, adversity through CrossFit is a great example on how it could transfer in other areas.
Yep.
So like,
I just talked about this on the last episode.
you know, when you're in a workout and in a very low key way, you know, you have to go in there and you have to push yourself and you have to overcome challenges. And I think that that's really valuable because it carries over into real life. You know, I think that if you're not exercising, you're missing out on a really great component of something in your life that you could do that's in your control that could help you overcome challenges outside the gym. And I'm speaking as a guy who's, you know, had to overcome challenges in workouts and then also in real life. And those two really work well together. Mm-hmm. And I think the more that we could do that at a younger age, the better we could start handling things as we get older and we have to overcome real stuff.
Yeah. And we're living in a society right now that wants to make everything safe. And it's like, no, that's a bad idea, because no matter how safe you make it, at the end, it's going to get tough and you want to be prepared for that. And so the more adversity that you deal with early on, the more calloused you are, the stronger you are, the more you've like built up this scar tissue and you're able to deal with this shit. And I see it, you know, my wife is like, you know, just pampers our kids and is all about making everything easy. And I'm like, no, let them fall down, fall down. And I'm the complete opposite. And I ran a marathon one time, the first marathon I ever ran. And I was like, people were like, why are you doing this? I'm like, because I feel like if I do it, then after that, everything will be easy. A lot of things will be easy. And it was right after I did my marathon. I was like, anytime I had somebody go, hey, in a workout or in life, do this. I was like, I fucking ran 26 miles. And then as life wore on, I'm like, well, there's a lot of shit harder than marathons.
Yeah.
I got to go run. I ran this 68 mile. I got to go run this. And now I'm like, should I do 100 miles?
Well, yeah, because you're intentionally putting yourself in uncomfortable positions. I think that's important. And you know, you don't want to intentionally put yourself in uncomfortable positions that are like really like life and death stuff, right? Like, I mean, real stuff. Yeah. You want to put yourself, I think physical feats and challenges are so great to then carry over in other stuff you're doing. And especially I'm a huge advocate for jiu-jitsu. And I think that, you know,
you do jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. And I think it's a great, platform, a great thing to test yourself mentally, physically, to learn new skills, but also to get really uncomfortable. And, that carries over everything else.
What belt are you?
Purple.
Purple goes, how's it go?
So it's white, blue, purple, brown, black. Okay. So it takes a while to get to purple.
Yeah. How long have you been doing it?
4 years.
There's almost this, I find there's like this type, and it's a type of person. Like, I surf a lot, and all the guys I know are like surfing, jiu-jitsu, CrossFit.
Yeah. No,
and they all listen to Joe Rogan.
No, yeah. I mean, if you look at Rogan, I mean, he's a fitness guy. And obviously black belt in jiu-jitsu. One day I gotta talk to him about, you know, CrossFit training and jiu-jitsu and things like that. Cause I think him and I would have a good conversation about that.
If you look back, I think I was on episode 77, which is, I know I was 77 of the Joe Rogan Experience. Was the first time I ever went on there. And, if you listen to that episode, I'm gonna take credit for this. I believe I introduced him to grass-fed beef.
No, boy. And
I think I talked to him all about the paleo eating. And I talked CrossFit, and he was a very like, fuck CrossFit kind of thing. But he was open to it. He told me on one of the episodes, he said, I'll do CrossFit if you do jiu-jitsu. And he wanted me to go, and I'm not for like rolling around with other dudes. It's not my thing. And I'm also very I'm not even claustrophobic. I'm a thing called cletrophobic, which is a fear of being trapped. So jiu-jitsu is like the worst thing. I mean, the whole idea of tapping out's great to me. I'm like, tap.
Yeah. I mean, so one would say that you should do it then.
Yeah. I mean, it might. Yeah, it might cure it, because I can't ride an elevator.
Oh yeah,
I literally cannot ride an elevator.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
I stay on first and second floors of every hotel I'm in. It's a problem.
Yeah, maybe you should try jiu-jitsu. Maybe it'll help.
We'll have meetings. Like, I'll go with my agents and managers to a meeting, like to television development meeting, and they'll be like, "It's at Universal," and I'm like, and I know Universal's like NBC Universal. I'm like, that's on the 35th floor. And they're like,
you better get there early, huh?
I'm like,
you're taking the stairs.
I'm not fucking going, you know. Or I've gone to places where like radio interviews or something. And they're like, yeah, we're on the 14th floor. I'm like, all right, I'll be a little sweaty when I get there. And I run up the stairs, and I went to this huge meeting one time, and it was to pitch a TV show, and good chance they're going to buy it. It was called the Esquire Network. And we go to the meeting, I ride the elevator, and I've like full anxiety when I get there. And I'm like losing my mind. It was just like the hardest thing I went through. We're all sitting at the conference table waiting. The executive walks in and goes, guys, before we even start this, I need to let you know that they're about to announce in Variety and the Hollywood Reporter that the network has just been shut down. He goes, it's over. Like they're closing the network starting at noon, and our meeting's like at noon. And I go, I fucking rode the elevator to get here. And my manager looks at me and goes, Eddie, everyone just lost their job in this floor. Every single person here. And I'm like, I don't care. I rode the elevator.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't have a job. They're in my position now. I was just trying to get a job. And I'm like, do you know what it took to ride that? So then I got to ride down the elevator, and I'm like cursing everyone. I'm so mad. And it was lunchtime. It's noon. We're going down, and every floor, more and more people keep getting off. So I keep getting off. Every floor I get off, and I make them wait. My agent didn't know my problem. My manager knew. And we go down another floor, and I get off, and finally we get to the bottom. And my agent's like, what the fuck was that all about? And I'm like, I'm a weirdo. I don't ride elevators. And my agent's like, what the fuck is wrong?
Sounds like you got to find a way to break through that, man.
Yeah, it's real. It's so funny. I was listening to David Goggins' book on it, and he had it. Yeah. He had the same thing.
Dude, his audiobook was really good.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when he talked about the airplane thing, that's where it all started. I just was flying so much, and I started to get like this claustrophobic kind of trapped feeling. And it was great to hear Goggins say it, because I'm like, here's this guy who's Navy SEAL, not an Army Ranger, not afraid of anything, can beat the shit out of his body,
Yeah.
And he was going, and that just shows you like it's completely mental. It's out of your control to some extent. And it's, it's debilitating. And I've been to a hypnotist. I've been to therapy.
Maybe jiu-jitsu. Give it a shot. See what happens.
Yeah, it's funny though.
Take Joe Rogan's advice.
A lot of CrossFitters are moving, like they do CrossFit, they get as good as they can get, and then they go into jiu-jitsu.
Well, I mean, there's a good carryover for the both of them. I think both of them should be.
Who's the best top level CrossFitter at jiu-jitsu? Is it you?
Well, I mean, from like a competed at CrossFit Games and at a certain belt level, I don't know anybody else.
Really?
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't know anybody else. Because, I mean, for me, I got into it really at an early age. I got into jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, but I stopped doing them because I focused on competing in CrossFit. I didn't want to get hurt.
Right.
And so when you're competing at the CrossFit, like if Matt Frazier were to go into jiu-jitsu right now, he would never do that because it's foolish. There's certain things in jiu-jitsu that are very dynamic and are outside your control. Now, is there like wrestlers and stuff like that? Yeah. Like, I mean, there's a few like Chandler Smith is he's a Army wrestler, which I wouldn't want to wrestle with him. But in jiu-jitsu is different.
Yeah. I remember Rogan said to me one time on the show, he said, you take your best CrossFitter and put him up against my worst jiu-jitsu guy. And he goes, who do you think's going to win a fight? And I was like, oh, that's a really good, he was kind of saying to me, why do you guys exercise so much? Because when it all comes down to like being like
yeah,
an apocalypse.
I would combat that with him and be like, well, look, I mean, I've done both. And I think there's a lot of jiu-jitsu guys who have terrible strength conditioning. And if they just incorporated it, they'd be significantly better than where they're at today.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I agree.
And it goes both ways, right? You need both. And he would agree.
Yeah, he does. He talks about how CrossFit's a great conditioning method for jiu-jitsu. And, there's a bunch of them out there that do it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. And there's a lot of CrossFit /
there's
MMA
schools.
Gyms. Yeah. I think I'm gonna start. Duffy Gaver was on the show. Do you know Duffy? He was at the original seminar, the first one with who else was there? All the serious OGs for Glassman's first one. He's a trainer out of LA, owned a CrossFit gym for a short time, and trains a lot of celebrities. Really good dude. He won't admit this, but he's Brad Pitt's trainer, and he's kind of like, if you watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
Yeah.
it's like who Brad Pitt is like trying to be. I mean, Duffy's a badass motherfucker. In fact, that was the name of his CrossFit BAMF.
Oh my gosh. Of course.
And he's like said to me, come on, you got to come. And he's like, you got to do it. And I was like, because I want my kids to do it. So I'm going to start. I just have to get ready to be put in that fucking anxiety position it happens to me surfing though. When I get held down.
Oh yeah.
That's a trap.
I think that's what most people feel though. When you're that deep under the water. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel that way.
It's brutal.
Oh yeah.
It's brutal. I surfed with Pat Barber the other day and we went out, it was like 10 foot and I got caught on the inside on like a 12 wave set. And I just kept getting pummeled and I was like, oh, I just gripped my board. I'm like, do not lose this board.
Yeah. I mean, if you can do that, then go try jiu-jitsu. I'm actually going over there in just a little bit, actually.
How often do you go?
When I'm home, I just got back from, I was in Asia. I travel a lot when I'm home. I try and do like 3 days a week. But I travel quite a bit.
Are you opening a gym in Asia?
We have gyms in Asia.
Where don't you have a gym?
We don't have a gym in many places, but we have locations in Asia because our corporate wellness.
Okay.
So we have like 3 in Malaysia. We have, Thailand, China, Japan. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So those are corporate wellness accounts. That was a really cool experience growing that, learning about all these different cultures and bringing fitness there. And, so yeah.
So what is your business model exactly? Because, like a lot of people in CrossFit know, but a lot of people that listen to the show might not know.
I mean, our business model is, so we have 3 verticals. Our business, we have open to the public locations that you're sitting in right now.
And how many of these are there?
5.
Okay.
We have corporate wellness locations.
Which, by the way, I just want to say, I was at Neil Maddox's gym yesterday and it's beautiful and it's amazing. And I was like, this is so nice. This is incredible. Yours is too. It's like, I travel constantly. I don't see gyms this nice. This is amazing. Between the two of you, I mean, like, this is incredible.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, it's
gorgeous.
It's okay.
It looks like, and somehow you figured it out because a lot of people, they went high and, end up then the margins aren't good. They're not making enough money and they're not able to pay their overhead, but somehow you figured it out.
So we have these and then we have corporate wellness locations. And we have another like 14, 15 of those. And then we have our digital footprint. So we put out our programs that we use in all of our locations with all of our coaches to the rest of the world.
So are they all using the same program at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, we have our own app. We have our own stuff. I mean, because for us, it really came out of necessity. And I think this is what makes us unique is that we're putting out tools that we use for our gym across 150 of our own coaches. Where we started saying, how are we going to have a consistent product across all these sites? How are we going to provide tools for our coaches to develop over time? Not just in the beginning, but over time. Mm-hmm. And so we created our own app with daily videos that we create, daily session plans that we create for all of our programs.
Sure.
And we distribute that to our team. Then after we started distributing it for a while, we said, hey, why don't we sell this to other gyms? We spend so much money on it. We have a full-time staff of 8 people that just do this. So you might as well sell it to other gyms.
Sure.
Right? And so we started scaling it. So that's our 3 verticals. We have digital, corporate.
And the corporate wellness is something you're very well known for.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, Jason Khalipa, he tapped into this thing and he's...
Yeah, we've learned a lot from that experience too. We've definitely tapped into corporate wellness. We've had to learn a lot over the years. It started off just super grassroots, walk into companies and start throwing around some kettlebells and it grew from there.
And so do you build a gym within their facility?
Yeah, for the most part. That's what we do. I mean, Lucasfilms is a client of ours and we run their full fitness center, which is really cool. But for the most part, we put in the gyms.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you design it.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I want to talk to you about something after the show. The last thing about that, because if you got to go to jiu-jitsu, I don't want to take up any more of your time. The corporate wellness. So you've got it all over the world and you've got it. I mean, do you need translators?
So sometimes, so for the most part, the people we hire are English speaking, but they obviously speak the language wherever we're at. But like in Japan, especially where these locations are at, it's definitely a language barrier for sure. And so we've had coaches, so we'll have like 2 or 3 staff per location, or maybe even more, whatever it is. And so then one person will be bilingual, the others maybe not. And so then we'll have to work through them. And I've had to use Google Translate and stuff like that. It's been very fun, very rewarding. In Japan in particular.
Japan's amazing though.
Yeah, Japan's
my
amazing.
favorite place.
In Japan and China, but like in Malaysia, in Thailand, a lot of them speak English.
Right. Okay. So are you still an affiliate, or are these things affiliates of CrossFit?
So our open and public locations are affiliates. The rest of them are not. We don't use the CrossFit mark in anything that we do across any of our locations, actually. And so, yeah, and we're opening up new gyms now. Does
that create any kind of tension between you and Glassman or anything like that? I mean,
I don't think so. I mean, him and I feel like we have an okay relationship. I publicly and privately have nothing but a lot of respect for what he's done for the industry and whatnot. And so, I think I think he's a guy who wanted to watch the cream rise to the top. And when, someone like us is creating jobs and creating sustainability, I think he likes it.
Yeah. Competing. Are you never, ever again?
So I did the Rogue Invitational last year as a legend. Mm-hmm. Did well there. That was fun. This year, because we're opening up some new gyms.
You trained hard for that, didn't you?
I trained hard for that. I did. Not hella hard, but hard enough.
I heard a bunch of guys saying, they're like, we know Khalipa's working so hard for this.
So I trained hard, right? But that's a good example. I mean, we're opening up new locations.
What were the final rankings in that? What happened?
I won.
Okay.
Graham, Holmberg, and then Dan Bailey.
Wow.
And so it was great. It was a really cool experience. But I don't think it's going to be the same as it was again. Mm-hmm. So, and for us, we're opening up new locations. And so I'm not going to be competing there. I would never say never, never say never,
Masters.
No, I mean, for me, like I said, I need to find things that are going to test me mentally and physically. Mm-hmm. And if that's going to be a CrossFit competition, great. But I can also go do other things. I competed in jiu-jitsu several times. I can go do an Ironman, which I haven't done before. I can go do
one too.
I did a half marathon, but I haven't done a marathon yet. If we're trying to get uncomfortable, well, let's go see what's possible.
Yeah, that's how I mean, I'm nothing like you, but I do kind of feel like I need these things to put them out there. So I did that trail run with Tommy, and I was like, okay, I did that. Now I got to do the Ironman.
Yeah.
And I got it in my knees.
I think it's good to have mental, physical tasks coming up that keep you motivated, inspired, and on track for everything else you're doing.
So how do you find time for the kids?
I mean, you just allocate time. I mean, I think, it's just like, how do you find time to work out? Well, you prioritize it and you get after it. Yeah. And so for me, it's the same thing. And, yeah, that's what
I just let them fill in all the gaps. Like, I'll be working out, my daughter will be in the gym with me, and then I got to run an errand. I'm like, come with me. And
yeah.
I have a little baby, so it's, nothing there. I mean, I do a lot of like hands-on stuff with that, but having my career and traveling constantly. I mean, I'm on the road 40 some weeks a year, and I'm home Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday usually, and I'm full-time with the kids the whole time.
Yeah.
And then like everything I do, they come. If I go surfing, my daughter's coming with me. If I'm going for a hike, she's coming with me, because I've got to spend as much time as possible.
It's a great way to bridge that gap, right? Yeah. Spend time doing other things, and also with them. Like, I went to the store with my daughter yesterday, or they'll go into the gym with me, or whatever it is.
Yeah. How old are they?
5 and 8.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, thanks for doing the show.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Always wanted to meet you. It was great. Let's do an Ironman together.
Oh gosh, an Ironman! I got to start by doing a sprint triathlon, and then after a sprint triathlon, we'll see what's up.
I had 2 buddies do it, and they were 50, and they just did it because they were 50, and they did it, and I looked at their times, and I'm like, you didn't do an Ironman, you fucking walked.
Yeah, it took them 3 days.
I forget how many hours it was.
Dude, hey, no, but you know what, man? You can't stop in the water.
No,
you could stop, but you can't.
That's true.
I mean,
and you're a big dude. You're swimming. How's your swimming? Are you a sinker?
No, it's a lot better. I trained a lot to get where I am now.
Well, congratulations on all your success. Thanks for doing the show, and thanks for listening. If you like the show, rate, review, and comment on iTunes, and check out all my dates. If they want to find you.
They can just find me at jasonkhalipa.com. You can go to
Go to his Facebook. He'll talk to you.
Yeah. Go to Instagram, Jason Khalipa. And, that's about it.
And if they want to get involved with what you're doing,
Oh yeah. I mean, if you guys want to, if you want to check out the charity stuff, so we have Ava's Kitchen. Should have mentioned that. So it's on Instagram, avas.kitchen, I think. So our annual fundraiser is about to hit February 8th.
And what is Ava's Kitchen?
So Ava's Kitchen is an event my wife started. We're friends with a chef named Michael Mina. And so he donates, but basically top level chefs, like 4 or 5 of them come and they cook in front of the group. And it's expensive, right? It's $1,000 a chair. You have 100 people and we do live auction. It's an incredible event here at the 49ers Stadium.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's February 8th. It's incredible. Raised a lot of money for pediatric cancer.
In a stadium?
Yeah, it's at the 49ers Stadium.
So like how many seats do you sell?
No, so we sell 100. It's a restaurant at the 49ers Stadium.
Okay, I was like,
yeah.
Is this like on the 50-yard line?
No.
$1,000 a ticket?
No, but it's at the 49ers. It's a really cool venue.
It sounds awesome. So, and how do I know Michael Mina? What restaurant is it?
Oh, dude, he owns a ton of restaurants. Yeah, they have like 50 restaurants. Some of them are called Michael Mina. Some are called Bourbon Steak. They have International Smoke with Aisha Curry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that. That sounds like, and where can they find this?
You can go to avaskitchen.org or Ava's Kitchen. You can look it up on Instagram, and you can also check it out on my Instagram. And yeah, February 8th. So
okay, that's awesome. Well, thanks again.
Yeah, no problem.
And like I said, all my dates are at eddyift.com. And thanks for listening.